So I've been working on this 20,000 word research paper for my university, and the burnout is kind of real. Now, there are many practical and holistic solutions to burnout. But how does one go about making a video game that helps you be more productive? Aside from Adidas here, the only thing that keeps me going in life is gatos, cats, kittens, meow meows. Here's some obligatory photos of my meow meows. They're so wholesome, for real, for real. So what if we take the productivity boosting effects of a meow meow and chuck it into our beep boop computer? Well, we get this. So here's the idea. It's a digital pet cat which lives on your computer. The more important work you get done, the more rewards you get. Have you ever seen one of those cool modular cat homes? They're called cat trees and they look hella sick. And that's why in this game, you can build your own cat tree using the money you get from spending time locking in. Studying with no breaks, however, can be kind of a recipe for burnout. So we take a bit of inspiration from the Pomodoro technique, meaning we have a mode in which you get money along with a short break for every 25 minutes of hard, laborious work. There's just one teeny tiny problem. How the hell am I supposed to lock in while a video game is blocking my whole screen? You ever heard of Clippy? Clippy was this hella annoying little creature that lived on people's desktops back in the olden days. That people online now seem to actually miss because somehow 30 years later, modern AI assistants have less personality than a literal paperclip. Clippy used to live on your screen while other apps were open. So it's clearly possible, right? Why don't we just do that? Well, yeah, it's possible, but this isn't something most game programming tools can just do. It kind of goes beyond game development and enters the hell that is operating systems. Operating systems are basically the stuff that makes computers work. Things like Windows, macOS, Android, and Linux are all types of operating systems. So to make something like this work, I'm gonna have to grab my gato code and grab the Windows code and smash them together. And well, Windows code is it's not very good. Pretty much anything it touches is a buggy hellscape. Even the damn password screen on Windows has a habit of just getting stuck for like 5 minutes. How the hell is that even possible? It literally needs to just check one word. It needs to check one word. So I'm literally in the middle of editing this video and my Windows glitched out and the desktop wallpaper is just gone, and when I right click it gets like all jammy, and if I go to the personalized settings, it closes, and like if I click on background, it gets stuck. I love Windows. It just works. It just works. Luckily for me, if no one in life's got me, then page 2 of Google's got me for real. Because after trying 3 different methods to make this work and having to deal with ChatGPT trying to gaslight me into thinking I'm the problem, I found this random article, and it just works. It just works. Mostly. I mean, the game still breaks if you have like more than one monitor, but who the hell is gonna have 2 monitors in the great year of 2026? Shut up, shut up, shut. But yeah, the solution is quite simple. Ignore it and make it a problem for future me. And instead, let's focus on something more fun. What's better than one gato? Try 100 gato. You can now buy more space to fit more gatos, and you can just keep spamming gatos as long as you got the cash for it, just like in real life. Now this is great, some A-tier gato, but I'd love some more variation. So let's give them DNA. To do that, we're gonna need something called a custom data structure. What is a custom data structure? It's a structure made of data. Keep up. Data structures are pieces of code that organize information, usually in the form of numbers or text, in a specific way where we know where everything is so that we can summon it later. They come in many shapes and sizes. you can find them in the form of trees, like this, or in the form of random graphs, like this. And technically, even strings are data structures because they're made up of little characters organized in a very specific way. And data structures are great because with enough willpower, you can turn them into literally anything. The DNA we need for our gatos is actually pretty simple. That's a motorbike. That's one loud motorbike. The DNA we need for our another one? The DNA we need for our... And what makes data structures so good is that we can turn them into basically anything. And gato DNA is actually really, really simple. We just need to stick a bunch of numbers together and have different numbers represent different traits of the gatos. In this case, the first few numbers represent the gato's personality. These numbers represent their colors. These ones represent if they have spots or not. And just like in real life, the last part of their DNA represents the type of hat they're wearing. Oh yeah, we got hats now. Lots of hats. Now, gato DNA is great and all, but something much more important in game development is play testing. Having people try out your game, finding bugs, and seeing what it does to them psychologically. So yeah, playtesting is hella based, and I really want to get testers to try out the game. But to do that, I need an MVP, a minimum viable product. It's basically a version of the game that has only the most important parts. It's not flashy, hell, it barely functions. But just like me, it has just enough juice to keep on going. And for a game like this, that's played over a really, really long time, there's one important feature that I'm missing. A save system. Now, I'll be real, I'm a bit of a dum-dum. Because I've been making a assumption, a kind of silly assumption in hindsight. I was assuming that in Unity, I would just be able to grab these gatos and the level that you've spent time building and just yoink them into a little save file, you know, and load them later. But it turns out Unity only lets you save simple variables like numbers and text and booleans. And if you don't know what a simple variable is, you can check out this other video I made. And maybe you didn't notice, but gatos and little plants and custom levels aren't numbers or text, which means that right now, every time that you turn off your PC, you're also permanently killing all your gatos and losing all your progress, which I don't think is that good for a cozy little game about gatos. Hi, it's me, like 4 weeks later, still on the crummy webcam though. Oh my god, the volume, the gain is way too high. Hi, it's me, like 4 weeks later, still on the crummy webcam though, instead of using the actual proper camera I have back there. I'm still working on the save system, and I'm low-key tweaking. Yeah, I'm low-key tweaking. This is a nightmare. At some point, literally everything turned to ducks. I messed up like one number and suddenly everything was ducks. I mean, low-key fire, if it was gonna be anything, I would have preferred it to be ducks. But yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't know if this is possible. This is like several hundred lines of code. It's the data nightmare. We got a data nightmare. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should just throw in the bucket right here, you know? Yeah. The answer is Jason. Jason? Who the hell is Jason? Jason is a weird, disgusting little creep that hoards all your weird data. But I also kinda love Jason because Jason is the greatest file format of all time. And if you disagree, I'm just gonna be maybe a little bit lactose intolerant towards you and your family. With the right pipeline for our data, Jason lets us turn this mess of numbers into this. And not to get political, but this is way, way better. Everything in the game now has an ID number that tells Jason all about its little quirks. And Jason, he's such a great guy. He accommodates for all your quirks, no matter how deeply it tortures his soul. But yeah, thanks to how based Jason is, not only do we have saving, we also have this little menu, which asks you if you want to load a previous save or make a new one. Thanks, data engineers, very cool. Now that we have our MVP, we just need a way to send people to my game. A normal person would just send the game by email, but you know me, I'm something. Emails are cool, but I want something more, something better. Why can't we just have a sense of adventure and follow it, you know? If all you ever do is send email, your entire life will be email. Is there not something more ambitious we can do? They'll tell you, just send the email. And that spending 20 extra hours of work just to feel a minor sense of adventure is stupid, pointless suffering. But those guys, they're boring as hell. So instead of just sending an email, we're getting productivity. Oh yeah, that's the name of the game, by the way. We're getting productivity published on a prestigious video game platform. All it takes is creating a Steam developer account, calling my bank like 4 times over a crap ton of incomprehensible details, paying a $100 developer fee. Wait, actually, sending my game to a review team for verification, downloading Steam's weird programmer toolkit, and spending countless hours rewriting a crap ton of my code just so it can connect to the damn Steam networks. And boom, productivity is now on Steam. Was it worth it? Yeah, maybe, low-key. Still way better than putting any app on the Google Play Store was. That stuff sucks. But Fruity Paul, if the game is on Steam, can I play it on my Steam Deck? What? No, are you stupid? Do you not remember what I said earlier? The game literally runs on Windows code. It's literally built on their technology, which Steam Deck doesn't use. To make it work on Steam Deck, I'd have to, for literally a 3rd time in this video, rip out half my game's code and create a dedicated Steam Deck mode. Great news, everybody! Steam Deck mode is now ready! It can't run on top of other apps on Steam Deck, so instead, it's got some epic custom backgrounds. Works pretty good as a second little screen. Wow, wow. Whoa, if I click on a gato, it shows their names? You know, tell you what, if you put your cat name in the comments below, they might just make it into the full game. Steam also gives us access to a hella useful system. With a bit of programming magic, we can have achievements. And the more achievements you get, the more customization options you can unlock. And it's not just blocks and hats, you can even unlock painting systems, furniture, and maybe a little farming system. And even more stuff that's coming soon. What you've seen today is the product of like 5 months of me chipping away at this project whenever I have like a single free hour and my back doesn't feel like it's gonna explode on me. Yeah, this thing's got like 5,000 lines of code under the hood that make it thick, but it's definitely gonna need a few thousand more to actually be finished. So yeah, Productivity is releasing on Steam soon-ish for a cheap-ish price. Sorry, I don't have exact details yet. Life has been kind of hell exhausting for months and months now, but we'll get there, so stay tuned. Oh yeah, and before you go, I have 2 important missions for you. Most importantly, go wishlist Productivity on Steam from the link in the description below. It helps a lot because it builds traction on Steam, and more importantly, if you don't do it, I'll cry. Like seriously, I will do it, and that would be pretty sad, wouldn't it? Your second mission, I don't know, I forgot. It's up Scribble or something. I don't know. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm a bit of a Jason enjoyer myself.